Alright. Today, we are talking about the ban list. The potential.
Hey.
So, we already have what's on the ban list. And then I know we were thinking about some cards that should potentially be talked about here today. I'm missing one of them. It's a labyrinth. I don't have it.
Wow.
I have 50 of them.
I'll put. It's fine. I'll put a labyrinth in post.
Hell yeah. So.
All right. So, I mean, who wants to start us off with the talk?
All right. So I think X-Spider is fine to come back.
Get out of here.
No, X-Spider can burn in hell.
All right. X-Spider can burn in hell. Got it. All right. Volcanic break.
One thing I will say before we start actually rolling. If y'all just want to make a Facebook post real quick saying, "Hey, we're live streaming, talking about a ban list."
Big facts. Big facts.
I just don't have access to the Facebook. So.
This is probably
Jacob, that's you.
Easier for me
for
to
all the
do
night owls.
on my computer.
Honey, you put your face on TikTok all the time. Get out of here.
But yet, also Dave, the last card in my sideboard, because he's always with me.
Mandala.
Yeah,
The one of, buddy.
the one of.
All right.
You put Genbu in there. Zeke, I thought you were going. Zeke, I thought you were going to watch anime.
Said no, fuck you. I'm still gonna be paying attention to the stream.
I'm
Talking
sorry it's
about
not
a
Saga
ban
Rare.
list.
I'm sorry it's not a
change
Saga
the,
Rare. I can't find
the
the Saga
stream
Rare.
name, Dave.
I did.
Okay.
Just changed
I
it.
can't find my Saga Rare at the moment.
Go get a Genbu. All right.
Now the question is, oh yeah,
I already have 4 Z.
Oh, for the he's talking to Dave. I thought you were talking about.
All right, here's
putting
the
in my
Genbu.
sideboard as a joke.
Hey, Mock Embo did nothing wrong.
He said get a Genbu.
He needs to specify which one.
We're
Exactly.
currently. He went and got the Genbu. We're currently making a. We're making a Facebook post for all the night owls.
Rates. Fire Labyrinth needs to go. I don't think it needs to go. I think it needs to be limited.
I think it needs to be hitting a 1.
Agreed?
Fuck limitations. We ban it.
This thing's at 1.
Ban it.
Ban you.
Should I just do it to Facebook?
Yeah, you can post it in like our
I'll
Discord.
post it. Yeah.
And then I'll put some honorable mentions.
Talking about a ban list.
As an avid Hydra enjoyer, Sapphire does need to go. Like,
I don't think it does.
I think
And I hate the fucking deck.
I think Labyrinth.
I hate it.
I think Labyrinth needs to like go somewhere. And Bandai does not do erratas.
Labyrinth needs to go to hell. Labyrinth is going to stifle the creativity of Ascend spirits going forward because of its ability to cheat them out.
Where's my Twitter post? My Twitter reply. Or my X reply.
Cards like... Okay,
My
so
bad.
we're in this bitch? Okay, so... Cards like Labyrinth become a real big problem when you're trying to create a new card with Ascend, because you have to keep Labyrinth in mind, or you're going to absolutely ruin the whole point of the cost of Ascend, which is to remove a spirit. Kieran said this. I'm pretty sure Zeke said this. I didn't get to see his video yet as of the time right now, but I'm sure Zeke said something along the same lines. And we saw it immediately in set 4 with Hydra being so strong. You should have to lose a spirit for it, but you don't.
Yeah.
And it's just going to make so much down the road harder to create fairly, because you're cheating a cost. It's letting you mana cheat. Same with Big Bang. Like, we're mana cheating here, and that is just,
to be fair,
not good.
Correct.
To be fair, to play devil's advocate here, right? Like, if we're banning a card solely off the fact of cheating a cost and limiting design space in the future, then that also means D-Rift needs to go too.
Yeah, because D-Rift
does
just
the same.
cheats out a dude.
But
for free.
currently D-Rift does not warp the meta around it.
Yeah.
So if
But all
D-Rift
it takes
becomes a
is
problem,
one-
if D-Rift becomes a problem, we can talk about that. But D-Rift is not even in the conversation. It's not in the galaxy, so that's not even worth talking about.
Alright, so Labyrinth either needs to get limited to 1 or just completely just axed. Preferably axed.
I don't really know if I like limitations in this game. I think we just axe it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
I mean,
if you
Volcanic
don't
Break
see-
is at 1.
Yes, but if Volcanic Break could have just been axed, and I mean Volcanic Break can come back to 4, right? So the idea is the design space of it being at 1, whether it's Labyrinth or BBE, if you have that one of and you high roll that one of, it's still gonna feel terrible for the opponent.
Sure.
Like if you're playing somebody and they high roll their one of BBE and on turn 2 or turn 3 just shit out a board, what was the point?
Mellow Yellow Hero is a hero. Free Axe Spider did nothing wrong.
he almost killed the game. Get out of here.
No, Depths killed the game.
No, Axe
No,
Spider almost killed the
Spider
game.
and Steps. Depths
It was
and
a,
Axe
it
Spider
was a,
almost killed
it was
the
a
game.
mutual
Axe Spider's...
relationship.
No, let me continue talking. Axe Spider's only flaw is he has armor yellow. If he didn't have armor yellow, the easiest way to get rid of him would have been solved.
That's true.
They can't be targeted. So the best card to get rid of him couldn't be played against him because he had armor yellow. The best card was Angelic Pressure.
I
Easily
just think
citable
he-
for most decks, but not usable because he had armor yellow. Literally the only problem.
I think Axe Spider should just be like he should just die in combat. But that's just me. Like let
mean,
him keep his armor
arguably
yellow.
agree
Let him
too,
let him
but
keep
yeah.
his armor yellow, but make it where he can die in combat.
Also
Well,
roughly do-
that requires an errata, and I don't like erratas in card games. In physical
The
card
cards that are
games.
never coming back.
Is Depths.
Depths is
Like, it's
never
already-
coming back.
Yeah,
ever.
no, that's
If Depths
So-
comes back, I'm playing Lyrica and Pollen. I'm playing Lyrica and Voiceless Diva in my deck.
Okay, so well, let's get the current ban list out of the way. Depths never comes back. Axe Spider is less strong, but it still creates a toxic environment. Send him back to hell. Break can come back to 4. Free my boy Ovi.
Alright, so we're trying to buff red here. Got it. We
buff-
talked about
that's all-
Labyrinth and Hydra. We wanna axe not Hydra, but the Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright. I wanna talk about this thing right here.
Axe it.
Big Bang needs
Big
to
Bang.
go.
Big
I-
Bang is okay. Let's start round table. David, what are your thoughts?
Big bang to one or none, baby. Big bang to one or none. I want you to be rewarded if you use it correctly. And if you mistime it, you lose. You don't ever have it again. But the fact that there's a gray dustworm or gray seagworm makes it to where I want this card gone. Because you can just gray.
Yeah.
Correct. And where everybody
If gray
actually,
didn't
let's-
exist, Big Bang to 1.
I agree with Zeke on what Zeke just said. There's not enough box sets yet to consider an unban.
That's fair.
But
So I think Ovi stays. Big
going
Bang
back to what
can,
we were saying about
Big Bang can just come back. I don't care. Big Bang's irrelevant. We have Flame Disaster.
You mean break?
Yeah,
Go-
break. I meant.
Before we go back to old cards, Big Bang.
What do you think, Marshall?
I think it needs to be gone. I think being able to go Big Bang into Ira to draw a ton of cards and then into Nova to heal, Andromeda to blow up your Nexus, and like everything else to hit everything else on your board is just not good. Because
See, if you use
for
it
one
correctly,
card,
anyone playing Big Bang wrong, there's really no wrong way to play Big Bang Energy. You just play it and then shit out your hand.
Well, if you
Yeah.
use it incorrectly, if the card is at 1, that's what I'm saying. You have to time it right. If it's at 1, that's what I was trying to say.
well, most of the time you just hold it until until there's a ton of cards on the field to where you can Ira and just draw a ton of cards.
Yeah.
So you just hold it till then. Because someone's going to have to commit at some point.
Right, but then you're gonna reveal it off of the ancient draw, and then it goes to the bottom of the deck, and problem solved.
Jacob's gonna do that.
Jacob's gonna do that all the time.
Jose, what do you think? Jose, what do you
He
think?
plays only Dragonoids.
Thing, get rid of it.
Yeah.
After I watched in Pro Tour in whatchamacallit, Profest, it was very annoying to see.
You watched a lot
just-
of my games.
I did watch a lot of your games, and a lot of them were annoying to watch. Where it was just, oh, you got your guy down, you got your opponent down to 2 life, 1 life, you pass, you couldn't finish them. They're just like, all right, Big Bang, shit out my whole hand. All right, blow up your board, draw a bunch of cards, keep going, and then just like swing. And if you don't have Ice Shield, you can't do anything. To me, it should just be gone. I don't like Big Bang. I don't like the cost reduction of what Big Bang turns the game into.
I agree.
Yeah, because it feels like it just turns the Star Dragon match into a time bomb.
Correct. Like
Yep.
you have to play passive
Yep, and they
until you know you have the game.
Yep, and they
and if you
draw too
don't
much
do that-
and control the board too much for anybody to do that.
Yeah, it's just too much.
James?
Ban it. I'm just gonna be simple with it. Just ban it because crapping out your entire hand on the board when you play it is one thing, but also being at 1 and then being like, I played Ira, then I play, let's say, Gray. Okay, ascend Nova off of Gray. Go back up to 5. I don't care anymore that you just put me to 1. You're probably not gonna get there again anyways. It's
So-
just
Yeah, basically. So for me, it's all of that plus it's incredible mana cheat, number 1. It's you don't have to play carefully, really, when you have 4 Big Bang energy in your deck. You can just take every hit, never swing at your opponent, which is what Ira players do. They never swing at you, they take every hit. They build a board, they blow up your Nexus, then they play Big Bang, wipe your board, blow up the rest of your Nexus, shit out of hand, heal off a Nova, and now they're in this just absolutely monumental state of oppression against you, and you're completely on the back foot, and it's so hard to get back. And if you are able to wipe their board, hey, they have 3 more Big Bang energies. Not only that, but Big Bang warps the meta to make everybody go, can this deck beat Ira? do I have the tools to beat Ira? So it limits design space for deck creativity, not only for other colors, but it limits design space for creativity for red, because why play anything else when you can just play Big Bang Ira and Unga Bunga Whirlwind slam your deck on the board?
Correct.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Jacob, where it has warped the meta to the point where you're either playing Hydra that can high roll faster and kill them before they get anywhere, or you're playing green or white aggro because they can punch in faster, and if they don't see the answer, they just die. It's, can it beat this deck? And then you have the contention of, well, I can beat Ira, but can I beat Hydra if they high roll me as well? So
Exactly. And it stifles creativity for Star Dragons, because now they have to think of everything in the vacuum of Big Bang energy. And like everybody says, we have Grey Servant of Seagrim, and with Grey Servant of Seagrim, I said at the very beginning of set 4, did I not, that Big Bang Ira is going to be the best version of Ira. Snag Grey Ira is also good, but it's slower, and it's slower. It builds up pace, it builds up tempo very well, and it's very consistent, but it's slower because they can only gray into Ira or gray into Nova. They can't do both. They're still spending cores, whereas Big Bang makes them they spend 2 cores to Big Bang, and then everything else from there is free. So they can have 6 spirits all at level 2 or 3, and they're good to go. So having Gray and playing a more slow-paced deck where your opponent knows that they can get Ira'd, but if they get Ira'd plus Nova'd, that's going to cost the red player's entire turn.
Yep.
Instead of Ira, Nova, Ira, Andromeda, Dustworm, all in one turn.
Yep.
So Big Bang just needs to go for the health of the game. That's it.
So Big Bang's out the door. Got it.
Yeah, fuck Big Bang. Get rid of it.
Yep, get rid of it.
All right, so
Join Ovi Raptidon, my boy.
No, next on the list really is if Lab and Big Bang get banned. Now we have to think, that's, of course, it's just going to help the health of the game, but now we have to think, well, if these two get banned, what's going to be the next best thing? Because why would if we ban those, then we just replace it with the next best decks, which is going to be most likely Fabled Beasts with Windagloom, green aggro, and white aggro. Because those are the 3 most... White aggro and green aggro are the 2 most represented outside of Ira and Hydra, because they're the 2 that are the best suited to beat them quickly without letting them get out of control.
Yep.
And then Windagloom is literally got the Ira treatment. It's fucking nutty.
Yep. Card activates its own chain. It's a Fable Beast, so it activates this thing over here that's called Phantasmal Paradise, which I think should go.
It gives so much. Windagloom gives so much tempo advantage to the yellow player, especially in conjunction with Phantasmal Paradise. You turn 1 Paradise, turn 2 Windagloom, you're going to draw a card. You swing with Windagloom, you use a whiteout or something like that, you draw 2 more cards, and it's just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. You've drawn 3 cards in 2 or 3 turns, and you've bounced 1 or 2 of their spirits, and it's so hard to come back.
Yeah, if your opponent doesn't answer the Phantasmal Paradise, after the first Fable Beast you put on the board, you have net 0 on the second one, and then you've +1 on the next one. And if you have 2 Phantasmal Paradises out, you're just plussing entirely.
Steve Contreras says Paradise to 2. No, I don't like the idea of limitations in this game. It's either 4 or 0 for me. You either have it at a full playset or you don't have it at all.
I think the only things that can go to 1 in this game are magics.
But let's have our resident yellow players talk about the potential of Fable Beast yellow and yellow in general if we lose Ira and Hydra. So go ahead and take us off, Jose.
Okay. I can see where Fable Beast will, should those bans come through, Fable Beast will be a top tier deck because of Phantasmal. But I mean, at the same time, Yellow hasn't been in a good spot since very beginning of set one, and it's just fallen off since then. It's only now that we've gotten the power of Windigloom.
Well, have you forgotten about set 3?
Set 3 had Gembu.
Beginning of set 3.
Set 3 had what? Flagellum?
No,
Genbu,
Gembu.
And
Gembu.
set
Gembu.
set 3 Fable Beast forced people to run vanilla spirits
It did. It did.
just to play against it.
You had the guy that plays Lester start you off, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But so the thing with it is, Fable Beast was middle of the track and everything for all of set one, bottom for all of set two until the end when the first Banlist happened. Then it was literally one of the best decks to play because people hadn't figured out the ratios of what to run to combat Fable Beast, because Phantasmal gave it the best draw engine, because nobody had time yet to figure out the better draw engine out when Depths was banned. So the immediate one that came to mind was Phantasmal. And then set 3 gave us Gembu, which forced people to run vanilla spirits so they could be blocked. And if it wasn't that, you had to play the white magics to bounce the card Gembu gives the effect to. Otherwise, you just lose. Phantasmal is a very strong draw engine, and when you take out the fact of Ira and Hydra dominating stuff, and unless Red plays a bunch of Nexus hate, or if you are guaranteed mainboarding Nexus hate, Yellow Fable Beast player, as long as they keep seeing the Fable Beast Spirit and they establish multiple Phantasmals, they're just going to draw a bunch of cards, and then once they have that card advantage in their hand, it doesn't matter what you do, because then they'll have seen a lot of answers, like Lightning Arrows, God Slings, their own Dream Bombs, Avalanches, whatever, because they're playing Windigloom, so Whiteout, Thunderwall, which I did literally in last locals, bully Izzy with. It's the worst spell in the deck I was playing, and I bullied him with it because I had 2 Windiglooms on the board.
On top of that, they're going to be if people are attacking Nexus removal against you, they get rid of the Paradises early. Well, now you start dropping Cathedrals on them, and mid game Cathedral is like Paradise is great for the early game for Fable Beast, but mid game Cathedrals are what really help later on down the road. So Paradise is the tempo that you gain from going Paradise, and then start slamming Fable Beast is absolutely disgusting, and it's literally a lightning rod for Nexus destruction for you to be able to play your Cathedrals and stuff like that. On top of that, Genbu here in set 5, somebody's going to figure it out, but I'm just saying, number one, if Fable Beasts are really good and people are running Genbu, you're going to be forced to find some sort of answer to it, whether that be new and better magics or running vanilla spirits. But the funny part about that is
give the Fable Beast spirit with Astral.
Genbu can target a Fable Beast spirit with Astral, or given Astral by something like Cat Ether. This may be Disneyland, but it is a possibility. There are Fable Beast spirits with Astral or that can give Astral. So now Genbu targets an Astral spirit, and now the only thing that can block it is Astral spirits, but oh wait, the Astral spirit can't block it because it has text. And your vanilla spirits that you're running can't block it because it has Astral. So it essentially makes an unblockable spirit.
Yeah, it's forcing you to have a removal spell, either a bounce spell or just a hard removal spell that can kill the card.
And combine that with the crazy early game tempo of Paradise plus Windigloom, and Fable Beast is looking to be very, very strong in set 5. I'm not sure if we need a hit right now on them, but it's definitely something that we need to watch closely, because I really, really do not want to live in another Ginbu meta. I don't want to
Yeah,
live
that's
in
fair.
I was about to say, you also have to factor in how, like, and I hate to say it, but you also have to factor in how Bandai does things. And if we don't get him, like, banning him now, I could see it. Like, I could see him not getting hit. But
If he doesn't get banned,
if he
now,
doesn't get
he's
hit,
not gonna get banned.
when's the next time we're ever gonna see a ban list?
I disconnected. Reconnection.
Yeah, you're still there.
There we go.
Yeah, if you play 2 Genbus, it's just over.
But yeah, like Zeke said, Ginbu introduced something so wild and out of scope of the typical Fable Beast family.
Mm-hmm.
Are we back? I think we're back. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Alright. But yeah. So, like... So are we going to look at Paradise? We're looking at Wendigloom? Or are we looking at Genbu?
I think Wendigloom's too new to ban. They're not going to ban Wendigloom.
I think we just get rid of Genbu.
In my opinion, so this is my thing, right? If you look at other decks, and it's one of the big reasons why they don't why they're not as good. There are a lot of decks that can do really, really dumb things, but they lack a consistent form of draw.
Yeah.
If you hit the draw engine, it forces Fabled Beast to play like every other deck.
I mean,
And
not
they have
really.
to see their pieces. They have to see their pieces, and they have to see the Star Blasts and see the strong draws to get the draw power they need to see like the Genbus and all the pieces.
Fable Beast doesn't play Star Blessed and Strong Draw. Fable Beast plays Phantasmal Paradise and Whiteout.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
so if you hit
Gloom,
if
plus
you hit
sometimes stuff like Gleam of Hope, they have
Yeah.
their draw engine.
Yeah, so I think you just don't care about Paradise. You just hit Genbu.
That is what I'm saying. Is if you hit the Paradise, if you just get Paradise out,
They're just gonna
that cuts down on most of their draw power significantly.
It cuts out on the most egregious form of their draw power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just get rid of the card that makes a broken an unblockable card. I think we just get rid of Genbu.
Well, the thing is getting rid
It
of
requires
Genbu,
a lot of pieces.
The thing is, getting rid of Genbu doesn't stop half of the Fabled Beast list, because half the people that I talk to are running Genbu at the top end, and half of them don't even play Genbu, because they just run Eagle and Hundun and maybe Tawu at the top end. That's it. They just don't even go into Genbu. I think hitting Paradise, the tempo creator, the early game tempo creator, is more important.
I like what Zeke is saying.
Because that slows them down.
I think you get rid of Genbu and hit Paradise to probably 2 or all.
Yeah, you could hit both of them.
You just hit both.
Will Bandai hit them? Probably not.
No, probably not. No,
probably not.
But you just cut them both out, because Genbu creates egregious board states, especially with new things coming out, especially with Astral. Genbu is just a extra icing on top of that cake of cards having Astral and being unblockable.
Yeah.
And then Paradise creates, just a really, really strong tempo for Yellow. So if Yellow gets hit, those 2 cards are definitely in contention for them being hit. Let them keep Windigloom. Windigloom is annoying. It's a 4 cost with 3 reduction, 2 cores for Luster. It gets over the 6k threshold of many BP destruction spells. It's, it activates Chain on its own. It's not that bad, guys.
Yeah, I'm with Zeke though, but yeah. So both probably would need to go. Genbu more so, because they already have enough draw power with Wendigloom and everything else Wendigloom does. And sure, if they only need to see Whiteout early, and then they have you. So you just need to answer the Wendigloom on that. But
luckily, Wendigloom dies to Beldegor.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's yellow. Let's look at aggro. I think
agree
the
with you on that.
strongest. I think the strongest tools for aggro. Number one is Thorn Prison.
Yes.
I've been advocating for a Thorn Prison ban since the card came out. A lot of people have. The card, again, it stifles Green Magic's creativity of having cards magics that exhaust spirits, because why would you choose a card that exhausts a spirit when you can just have a card that exhausts 2 spirits?
Yep. I'm on board with that. Thorn Prison is just very strong.
It's
You don't play Needle Shot because you have Thorn Prison. You don't play Binding Thorn because you have Thorn Prison. You might play Plant Trap to stop your opponent on a Wind Summon in the sideboard, sure.
Yeah, Plant Trap is literally for Ira. That's it. That's all Plant Trap is for.
Yeah. And that's it. Like, you're gonna run Thorn Prison over all of those. That's it. And if you just get rid of Thorn Prison, it opens up. Yeah, sure, it balances out on what green can like do. So like, if your opponent has 3 spirits and they swing with 1, you gotta have the ability to rest the other spirit now, because you're probably only gonna be able to rest one of them, which is way more balanced than a 1 for 2.
Yeah. Prison creates so many non-games.
Your opponent selects, yeah, but I mean, if they only have 2 spirits, you've basically selected.
It doesn't matter. Opponent select, it doesn't matter. In most cases, opponent selecting doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So just the fact that, like I said, it creates so many non-games because you have three spirits on the field. You block with 1, they prison your other 2. It's GG. Like, it's just unfortunate. And then another thing that what Dave has on the screen right now is a card like Ant Strike Back is really, really, really good for green aggro.
Now, when Bandai made the post, I actually commented on it with Ant Strikes Back as one of my cards that it should be gone, and I'm gonna read it. I wrote, "The Ant Strikes Back is a great card in aggro decks as it allows you to gain 2 spirits on the board for losing 1 to the opponent. Used as burst, it can used as a burst during your opponent's turn. It creates a board state that punishes players for defending against the aggro game plan. It needs attention. It gives you 2 spirits, so it gives you 2 reduction immediately. So they'll swing, you'll block, your thing will die, you'll burst it, you'll get 2 dudes. And if they only had 1 dude, you now have 2. You have 2 reduction, and now you can play. What you could play? I don't know what's in green. You could play General now for 2 or for 1. Make another dude. You can probably Ant Shadow. King Tartarus is a very good card.
They now have green aggro now has access to Seed Bullet as well.
Oh, and they have full reduction for Thorn Prison, by the way.
Yeah.
I think since we have Seed Bullet, I think we should get rid of Ant Strikes Back.
That's a possibility. I think I'm not sure if axing both Prison and Ant Strikes Back is the correct call.
I think it's either or.
I still want a card like green aggro to be good. Because, aggro helps, we need aggro, we need mid-range, we need control, like, we need everything. Like, all of that needs to be in for a balanced, healthy format.
I'm down to keep aggro in the game. I don't play it. I'm down to keep a control deck in the game. And right now, the control deck is Ira. But it's too unfair because it just does it every time. But, like, this helps with the aggro game plan just a little too much.
Yeah, what Zeke's saying is Ant Strike Back, they kill 1 of your spirits, you replace it with 2 spirits for free, and you have, 2 free reduction on the field for no cost at all.
Without paying cost, that's that mana cheat.
Exactly. It's mana cheat, and even if you literally play 1 spirit, burst put Ant Strike Back in the burst, they swing at you on turn 2. You block, lose your spirit, boom, you've got 2 reduction. Now you can start, in green aggro, now you can start playing things for free.
And if your opponent didn't have a burst or they paid all their cores, they only have like They only have like 4 life left. You could be like, all right, play 2 more dudes, swing, 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 I win.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll be at 5. You'll be at like 5 cores or something like that. 5 or 6 cores. You've got 2 on. Play 2 or 3 free dudes. GG.
Yep, you win. And that happened a lot at the Pro Fest. Like, that happened. It happens.
Yeah. Plus with Green's ability, with all of the Swift Green Spirits that are in now, like, do we need a card like Ant Strikes Back?
Yeah, we have Leaf Wolf. We've had Leaf Wolf
Exactly.
forever.
If we get rid of something like Thorn Prison, is Ant Strikes Back as egregious? It's still really, really, really strong, but does cutting both of those spells kill green aggro? I'm not sure it does, but it makes it a lot weaker. But I think those are the 2 top contenders for a deck like green aggro, and Thorn Prison itself for a deck like white aggro.
I think
to help.
I will say this, and this is my thing. I think if you got to pick one, I think
Zeke,
you pick ants.
Zeke, you've spoken your piece. You have a video.
So this card, I think with the Ant Strikes Back, I think this card could go to 1 and be fine, because you have the threat of, I'm gonna set a burst, I have a spirit, and I'm playing green. Do you take the risk? It balances out decision making.
Yeah.
I don't think
It really
you axe Ant Strikes Back. I think this card, in all honesty, is a card that you limit.
I hate limits.
I know you do,
So
but I think that's
this
the
is my
only
thing.
way you take care of this card.
I think it's best. I think we just axe Thorn Prison, and that helps against green and white aggro,
I disagree.
and so much other stuff.
I think Thorn Prison is fine because it's like Green's Burning Force or Green's Dream Bomb or stuff like that, but also it's a counter argument. Thorn Prison also helps decks live against the aggro decks too. It helps the aggro decks, but it helps you live against them too.
Yeah, but I think Thorn Prison is much better for the aggro deck than it is against the aggro deck.
I mean,
Tell that to
when that's
Pegasion.
your
You know what I mean? I think just the ability.
yeah, but
of,
not everybody's playing white and playing
in
Pegasus.
a card like Burning Force, you can get over Burning Force with your BP and everything like that. Thorn Prison, there's
Yeah, but you
literally
can't
other
go-
than Armor Green, there's no way
That's
to get
fair,
around
Zeke.
Thorn Prison.
I'm just saying it's literally a dual side here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You-
it is a
it
double-sided
helps you
card.
against it, but it helps them, but it helps you against it.
Yeah.
And in decks that don't play white, that can afford to just dump Pegasion on the board. In decks that don't play like Block Golem, I think, in my opinion, and this is what's gonna go to another card that I think should be hit to fix the aggro decks. I think you just hit the Ant Strikes Back because it gives you 2 bodies for free. It's worded horribly, and it does too much for nothing in the aggro decks.
Correct.
But I think if you want to hit both aggro decks, you hit Ant Strikes Back and you hit
Alchemist.
I was given an idea of, instead of hitting Valkyrie Mist, because Valkyrie Mist kills, like, hitting Valkyrie Mist hurts the Valkyrie archetype itself too, which I know isn't currently good, but it could be, and not having Valkyrie Mist could be really, really detrimental for it. We can think of a card like Regain for white aggro to hit,
Whoa!
because Regain is literally played only in white aggro.
So the thing about Regain is additional attacker, where Valkymist is literally you don't have a blocker anymore.
No, I mean, I agree with the Valkyrie. I agree with hitting Valkyrie Mist for what she does in white aggro, but that kills a whole other archetype as well.
And
so those,
so
I think either Valkymist or Regain would be good hits for something like white aggro.
I think you just and this is my thing. I think you just Like there's a lot of ways to bounce cards. In white, there's a lot of ways to bounce cards.
Yeah.
I think the Valkyrie deck can just find a and you just eat the Valkymist at this point, because it's been like that since set 1. If they just have the hand and they have you play a dude to block, and they have the Valkymist, you just lose.
If they have, bam, 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 on turn 2, and they swing, 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 and do this, and swing, you die.
Correct.
That is true. That is true.
They open
But
4 bodies that they can
are-
put on the
there
board
are-
for free, or
There
for
are
only one.
cards. There are cards that can block more than once per turn.
Yeah,
is
but
correct. There
and
are
there
magics.
are cards, and then there are cards like Thorn Prison. There are cards like Burning Force. There are cards like that can just do that. That can save you in that situation.
well, here's the
But
thing.
if you dedicate, if I dedicate my plays to playing a spirit that will be able to block and help me live, and you go, I have my board already. Valkyrie missed that back to your hand.
Well, what you're
You're
doing
dead.
is you're saying we have basically what you're doing is giving cadence to the do you have the out question instead of removing the. I mean, they're both egregious in white aggro. Both Valkyrie Mist and Regain are egregious in white aggro. But I think your logic is we have Thorn Prison, we have cards like Burning Force, we have cards, but if you don't see it, you just fucking die.
Well, yeah, that's why there's a
So,
mulligan.
You know, and if you get rid of their ability to either bounce with Valkyrie Mist, or you get rid of their ability to kill you in one turn with a card like Regain, then then instead of forcing the opponent to have the out or have no agency, you make it to where that aggro player does not have that tool to immediately kill them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I, as somebody that's had to sit across from white aggro more than all of you, can agree with the regain hits. My only egregiousness for Valkymist is, say you were given enough cores, you were able to put cheap bodies on the board, and then like mock Gimbu that nice board away. Then they remake the board, and then yeah, they have the Valkymist. But the same thing is with the regain. If they had it, they had it. So taking one or the other, I will give you to keep the Valkymist, so the Valkyrie deck doesn't get shafted. Regain can be hit. That is an agreeable one. Regain can be hit.
So we have Regain as a way to refresh. It is the cheapest form of refreshing a spirit on a magic.
Mm-hmm.
Because Royal Potion, it does restand all of your 2-drops, but it costs 5. We have Snow Melting Light, which costs 5. It does have 4 reduction, but you have to be playing 2 yellow, 2 white, and it only restands 1, or restands 1, right? 1 single symbol spirit, and makes it unblockable by things that cost 5 or less.
Yeah.
There's Absorb Power,
Which is 6 cost.
which is only 6 costs. And then everything else that refreshes spirits is only on the defense. And that's cards like Reboot Code and Holy Elixir.
Yeah.
I think I agree that Regain and Ant Strikes Back should go. I think Regain is too good of a card. It just has to go. I think it's done its job.
Yeah. And then add Thorn Prison in there and we're good to go.
No, I think I like Thorn Prison.
I think you
Thorn
hit those
Prison is
two.
fine.
Thorn Prison's fine. You're just salty. You lose to it a lot. Stop running into it.
I mean, I'm not calling. My my desire to ban Thorn Prison is not an emotional one.
That's
I do
fair.
not like the card, but my logic behind it is not emotional. It creates like Regain and like Big Bang Energy and like Hyrule Labyrinth. It creates too many non-games. It's the same thing we're going to see with Snow Melting Light and Wind of Gloom and stuff like it's going to create an incredible amount of non-games, and it's just going to make the game you're going to sit down and play, and after 10 minutes you're going to feel like you did nothing because you played a non-game. And I want to limit the amount of cards that create non-games, which Thorn Prison is one of those. Whether or not it's really good on defense. It's a great card on defense. But if your opponent attacks and you just Thorn Prison them, now you've basically created a non-game for your opponent because you've ruined their attack, plus you've ruined their defense on the next turn.
Well, then that's on your opponent for not playing around Thorn Prison.
But the thing is, even if they don't attack, you go to your turn, you attack, they go to block, you Thorn Prism, it's a non-game again, regardless of the
What are you talking about? I just
scenario.
blocked one of your attacks.
Okay.
And then I cast
Also,
Thorn
you
Prison and I
played it.
rest your other two attackers, and I win.
You're arguing for the sake of argument against the logic of why Thorn Prison is a poorly designed card.
So I will agree that Thorn Prison is a poorly designed card, but Thorn Prison literally balances itself because it itself exists. I mean, you can get rid of it, but I think...
Well, like, why, other than Seed Bullet, because Seed Bullet Seed Bullet isn't even an exhausted thing, it bounces something that is exhausted. Like you said, why play Binding Branch? Why play Needle Shot? Why play any of these magics that exhaust your opponent's spirits, other than, like, Plant Trap for Ira, when you just have Thorn Prison?
Yeah.
We have, like, seven...
I mean,
this may be an overestimation, but we have, like, 7 magics that exhaust spirits. We only play Thorn Prison.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, like, I will say this because I'm also looking at chat too. Zeke does sort of have a point here. Even if you have spirits, cool, doubly deadly. Cool,
Doubly
Dream Bomb.
Deadly is a card that we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, yeah, but you can't play around all 3 of them.
Yeah,
Like,
you just have to respect the color that you
They
see
all
on the
3 do
board.
the same thing.
You just have to respect the colors that you see on the board. Play around what you can. And I mean, if they have it, I mean, they have it.
But I think the difference between something like Doubly and something like Dream Bomb is Dream Bomb bounces one single spirit. It can bounce an Nexus 2 and Burst. It bounces one single spirit. If they have armor, of course, it doesn't, all of these, let's not worry about armor.
Yeah, I don't. Dream
it bounces
Bomb's a
one-
fine card. Just stop running into it.
Doubly, I'm not worried. I like Dream Bomb. I think
Dream Bomb
is
answers this card.
is incredibly well designed card. Doubly has the restriction of it must be cast in the flash step, and you must have a spirit to sacrifice.
Yep.
So Doubly is an incredibly powerful card, and
But it is very balanced.
it is pretty balanced because it has 2 restrictions: flash step only. You must have a spirit.
Yep. And if you're doing it aggressively, your opponent gets first flash. So if you were swinging at them, and you want to use this, and they, like, you have a spirit on your board that you're going to use it on, and they Burning Force you, now you don't have that spirit. You're like, well, do I get rid of my attacker now? Or do I get rid of my other dude now? Just to get rid of the 2 of their dudes? It's a
No.
very balanced card.
Mm-hmm.
That, like Zeke is saying, it requires a lot of work to use it. And most purple decks, they're just gonna get balance, man. Like, yes, they have deadly in their deck, but you have to respect it. This is gonna either 1-for-1 you, or this card's going to 2-for-1 you. So this is, you will have to use 2 cards if you have a dude on the board to kill one of theirs. This, you have to use 2 cards to kill 2 of theirs with a heavy burden of having to do it at the right time.
Yep.
These
I've
cards
heard
are
arguments-
extremely balanced.
Yep. I've heard arguments about if Ira and Hydra are gone because Lab and BB are banned, and Fabled Beast becomes one of the other top decks, then Purple rises up to farm Fabled Beast with something like Doubly Deadly,
Which is a
should
balanced meta.
So should Doubly Deadly get banned? And I'm just like, I don't know if Doubly should get banned, because you need something to be able to fight against Fabled Beast, because like, if you think about it, like, Wind of Gloom's bounce effect is during either attack step, is it not?
It is.
Yes.
Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Either attack step.
So if you're attacking as Purple and you're trying to Doubly Deadly them, they can just white out you and bounce 2 of your dudes.
So the thing is that the weakness with Wendigloom and Whiteout is that it can't bounce a 5 cost.
That's true.
5 cost is the only thing on the board that can be absolutely on the board against Wendigloom, unless they dream bomb.
Unless they dream bomb it.
Yeah, that is
Doubly
the only
fine,
card that they
yes.
can bounce.
Like Zeke says, I think Doubly's fine. It's a strong card. It's a very strong card, but I don't think we need to get rid of it.
Yep.
Deadly is
Balance.
still one of the, like I said, it was the best, probably one of the best magics in set 4, and it's going to continue to be a very strong magic.
I think it's good. I think Deadly is good. And does it go up if the top decks are hit? Like, does Purple go up as a whole? Yes, but I
Probably.
also think Deadly goes down a little bit because
Deadly is
because
used
Deadly
to
balance.
Push
So
the game
reason,
plan.
well, the reason Deadly balance I think goes down a little bit is because the biggest reason people play Deadly balance is to kill Hydra.
They aren't reformed.
Like Zeke said,
And if Hydra's gone, it's not really that good of a card.
yeah.
Like later on, like I
Well,
tried it
Zeke
in my
says
deck.
if you
I've tried it in a couple
cleave-
others.
Zeke says if you cleave the identity of deck types because they have a go-to magic card in color, you lose the cool concept of BSS, because you can play it out of color, but it comes at a cost, which is very true.
Yep.
The cool concept of purple is paying your own spirits to remove your opponent's board, and you getting some sort of benefit off of it, which I think these are fine. I think we can move on from that, and we can go on to some what other people have been talking about, which I think are pretty bad takes, honestly.
First one being this card.
Elephant. Elephant's perfectly fine.
I think this
It-
card
Elephants.
is a very fine card. It is a good tech option for out of color. Yellow decks are known to play this. Smag lists like this card. It helps bring them back into the game. Which, if you tell me that a single card being able to bring a player back into the game is bad, then you're lying. Like, it's not bad. It's balanced. It brings them back up. They have an option to bring them in. In like, in white, it's a machine beast. It's literally doing the game plan.
I think it's fine.
It is ramp. It is draw. It is white's really only way in color to draw consistently, ramp consistently. This card is fine, perfectly balanced, 8 cost. You have to have the Nexus to do it early. Get out of here.
I think it's fine for one reason. BP thresholds in every color but yellow, and sometimes purple, are big enough to get over it.
Sometimes you don't want to get over it. Sometimes you want to go under it. And if
That's
you
what
can't,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
But like getting like used to it, you used to sit it there, you'd be able to swing it, refresh it, and now they can't swing into it.
Yep.
Because
And-
whatever they swing into it is gonna die.
And like
But
you
now
could
we
swing it.
hit the point in the game to where we can get BP thresholds bigger than that for less.
Yeah. And like there are times where like you'd swing an elephant like a dumbass, and then you just run into a dream bomb.
Dream
Dream
bomb.
bomb.
Yep, and then you're done. And
Yeah,
then
no,
you're just
Dave.
like, well, I paid all
You're
these
welcome.
cores for this dream bomb. Oh, I hit my opponent, they burst dream bomb. Pick up your elephant and your Newman City. You're back to square one, buckaroo. You lose the game.
And you don't get your refresh.
and you don't get your refresh. So you just paid all of those cores for nothing. James Lewis, I have ran face first into your Dream Bomb Burst so many times, I don't even swing at you no more.
Not when you play an elephant turn 1.
Nah, man, I ain't fucking doing that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Elephant's a fine
I
balance
also
card.
think
It's fine.
Elephant's good.
I also think I think with how yellow has shaped up now, I don't think they play elephant either. Like
Pure yellow.
I think they don't play elephant anymore, if I'm being honest.
No,
You have
like
enough-
some lists might put it in the side. Sure. Just like, I don't know, like some people do it. But like,
I mean,
I think the
Elephant's
card's-
always a good tech card in plenty of decks.
Yeah,
It
Sideboard
is
tech
always an
card
option
or-
you think about in deck building. But
Yeah,
I don't
and
I think it's one of those cards that is the last cut.
now I will agree with what people are saying that because of how white is designed, specifically white control is designed, that it was a poor decision to give all of that in one card to Elephant, the draw, the ramp, the refresh, all in one card for Elephant. Now I know we have Mothership, and stuff like that, but it, white, specifically white control and slower, more grindy decks really do rely on Elephant. But that, I mean, I can see the argument, but I don't think that makes it a poorly designed card. I just think it makes it a very staple card for these slower, grindy decks. That's more expensive outside of color, and you have to find the right time to drop it.
yeah, all of the 2 effects.
Mm-hmm.
One just says it when it dies, and the other one is a level 2 effect that's refresh at the end of right before the end of your turn.
So
I mean, it's very
Elephant's
strong,
fine.
but it's tied to an 8 cost that can be cheated out a little bit earlier with the Nexus, and requires 4 cores to get the refresh. It's a fine and balanced card. If you get rid of Elephant, you killed white. You killed the entire color of white for their control matchup, for their control.
Elephant became the white needs draw and ramp. Better play this one card. Everyone is ready to stomp.
Yep.
I
And
just
if-
fucking
and if your
kill- I
opponent can't kill it,
if
you're not
when I
getting the
face against somebody who plays it, I just kill every single elephant that I see.
Yep,
I just
that's the
kill
right.
them all.
That's the right
Sure.
call. You just kill it.
Get your ramp and
So-
drop.
Just
It's fine.
immediately, I
And this is-
immediately
and-
kill elephant.
and
Take
this
your
is
draw,
what-
take your ramp. I'm doing the same thing. You're doing it with one card. I'm doing it with other things. Like I'm doing my
And-
draw. I'm doing my ramp too. Like
Yep.
And
we're
those,
both at 28 cores. It doesn't matter.
I will say this as well. If you go back and watch one of the games that I had with Dave tonight, he threw down an elephant, and I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
Run it over with a 13k with a 14k with confront.
Yeah, like Razika's saying,
Like-
white even now is less relevant. Is becoming even more or less relevant.
Pure white, yeah.
Like, it's just very hard to build effectively because everything just does what they do better and more effectively than what white needs to do, which is halt your game
Well-
plan.
Also, to me, it was always white. Always felt like, and this is
Facts. Nobody
yeah,
should.
No one's gonna go
Don't
back and watch that game because that game was a long.
That game was
a
boring
long
as
game.
fuck.
Yeah. But since the beginning of the game, white has always seemed like the most splashable color.
Yep.
You always splash white cards into other things. And
Aside from Ice Shield,
because-
but yeah.
And because we're now getting color mixing and stuff like that, it's getting even more so that way. So it's just becoming less and less like white is just getting more getting more diluted.
White is
as we're
become
going
the tech
on.
color.
Mhm.
It really has become the tech color.
Yeah.
So, and like Zeke said, elephant is becoming less relevant
Mm-hmm.
because we've got more ways, even in color, in the white green deck. You don't really you could play elephant, but you don't really need it because you have cards like Donar to eat your tokens and draw.
Yep.
You have Mistletoe to ramp you. You create
have
tokens.
Ant
You've
Shadow
got
to ramp you.
Ant Shadow to it's green, but you've got Ant Shadow to ramp you. You've got these in color cards because you're playing white green to ramp you, to draw your cards, to create your game plan, and it could be it's a very scary deck, and with it, cards like Floodstream can help mitigate the flood of tokens, which I think is actually good. I think Floodstream. People talk about Floodstream. Let's talk about Floodstream too really quickly. It does not need to get banned.
Nope.
I really hated it first with token decks, but I think it's not as egregious as it once was.
Yeah, it
has
stops.
purpose.
It
For
helps
sure, for
slow the token game plan down. It doesn't stop them.
It stops that turn of tokens, but the next turn you're just gonna shit out 3 more tokens.
Yep.
So it doesn't
I
really
think
matter.
I think when it was first introduced, I did not like how it interacted with tokens. But after set 5 as a whole, I think it's fine because you have more consistent ways to make tokens.
Not only more consistent ways to make tokens, but you're using your tokens as fodder. You're eating them with Donar. You're eating them with what's her name, Azuma.
Yeah.
You're
doing what you want to do anyway.
Exactly.
And your opponent's getting rid of the stuff, but you've already done what you need to.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, you can just, if they don't immediately
provoke an answer,
stream you, if they provoke an answer, and people are getting smarter with playing with tokens, that you create a couple tokens, force them to flood stream you, and then you shit out more tokens. You have another flood stream.
Yep, I've done that before. I've missile-timed after that.
Exactly.
Because
so
I got a token.
And...
Also another point, and this is coming from the Blueberry, because we've been talking about like Dave's version of the deck, right? Like Dave's token deck. If Floodstream is gone, have fun dealing with a 10k Golem token.
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I like against his deck that he was playing earlier. In my token deck, I will side in the 3 Floodstream to get rid of his Golem tokens. They have to go.
Yeah.
Like, they have to. Otherwise, his 10k tokens are just going to keep going and going and going.
Yeah, and
I'm
you
not
can't
going to have
kill
an answer.
Synvetria because of Island.
Yeah.
Like, you can't kill something. Anyway, so yeah, I think white is going to, with like quote-unquote yellow-white, which is basically just Windigloom, Whiteout, Snow Melting, and Dream Bomb. But white-green itself, I think if Ira is, like, if BBE gets banned, white-green, I think becomes a lot stronger because of the tempo and the board presence that it can continually have over and over and over again.
Yep.
And Floodstream is a good way to mitigate that, but you only have so many Floodstreams.
And they can just keep making tokens.
Exactly. And let's move on to our last card, which I also highly disagree with people of, is it's Maduke. There's nothing wrong with Maduke.
Maduke is good in the Gluten Vault deck.
That's yeah.
That's it.
So this is my thing about Maduke, and it's sort of how my opinion on the card. That is true. You can Dream Bomb it, but it's the same way with how I treat Synthetia. Synthetia always comes back. If I have Island, Synthetia always comes back. But with Maduke, when Maduke comes back, I lose a life.
Yes. Well, I think that the Maduke has quite a bit of cost. Like, she's got very, very high cost. Not
you have
only
to
for
establish
color.
enough cores to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very hard to do in purple.
Correct. But once you're able to do that, she does create an almost inevitability.
It speeds up your process of like what you need to do.
Games need to end.
Yep, and Maduke is, hey, this game needs to end.
Basically.
It says, hey, we're not at a stalemate anymore. You have to answer me or I will win.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can stop Maduke. You can bounce her. You can exhaust her. You can lightning arrow her. You can.
So the
make
thing
it
about
to
that is
block.
that if all your yellow spirits have curse, you need to answer her. Like she has to leave the board without being destroyed.
other answers, you can key of intrusion her. If she's only at the 6 KBP mark, which I think is level 2,
You
get
will
Mach
lose a
Imbu
life.
with a yeah.
will-
You still lose a life.
But she dies
I-
afterwards.
But she goes away.
Yeah, it was the same thing with
Yeah,
Elk. This card in Elk said, hey, you need to speed up. Yeah, but people stopped playing Elk because, like I've said before in the past, I think Elk is a bad card. Elk is just a card that's going to leave the board. It doesn't have any protection.
Elk isn't even irrelevant anymore.
But as I was saying, so like, and I fought a player that put a Maduke on the board at ProFest, and I was like, I looked at my life, I'm at 3. I was at 2, and I looked at him like I had to redouble check Maduke, and double check that I would just lose 1 life because it can't sustain itself and infinite loop it. So I was like, I have a red queen and Topaz on the board. I had another spirit to ascend Mach Gimbu off of, did the -6 off of it with Mach Gimbu. Cool, took a damage, but I don't care.
Yeah, it's
Maduke
gone.
is gone.
You got rid of it. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to get rid
Yeah.
of the card off the board and you're good. And if you don't
I
have
think-
the answer, I mean, then it's
I
fine.
feel
don't have
like
the
people's,
answer.
This
I
game
feel like
did its
people's
job.
I feel like people's problem with Maduke is more emotional than anything.
Yeah, people are just
Um,
tired of
Yeah.
losing to it and not, you know.
I think fundamentally there is a problem though, because Maduke has been the best purple boss since the advent of the game, and we're in set 5 now, and Maduke is still the
Oh.
best purple boss.
Talking about bosses, dude?
Don't you grab a Rixa. Don't fucking grab a
It's
Rixa.
I'm not grabbing a
garbage
Rix,
ass
I'm grabbing this
card.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean it's a design. It's Nova's still real, but here's the thing: Red got other boss monsters. Like in set 3, some people were playing Trident Dragon, people were playing Dragno King. They were relevant boss monsters that were being played other than Nova. In set 1, it was Giganorex. Giganorex was better than Nova,
Yeah.
right? In set 4, it's all about Ira. Nova's in there too, but it's really all about that board wipe with Ira and the heal from Nova. Nova became very relevant in set 4, and in set 5, Red has Tyrantosaurus, if that deck can be cracked. It has Shisha
I'm working
Giganto
on
and
it.
Caldera Dragon. Stuff like that. Purple. I mean, if you look at purple, I guess purple has Tyrantosaurus as well because it's a purple red card. But in pure purple and purple yellow, Maduke is still your best boss.
Marshall,
spirit.
nobody can see your screen.
And in set
I know.
2, of course, I guess in set 1 we had Curse Dragon as well, and like in set 2 we had Curse Dragon as well, but Maduke was still there. She was still very strongly there. Set 3, Maduke is still the best purple boss monster. Nemesis was good, but Maduke was still at the top. Set 4, Maduke at the top. And now in set 5, Maduke at the top. Purple needs better designed space for their boss monsters other than Maduke. And I'm still mad that they did Rixa the way they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think because it also semi limits what will always be the best versions of purple,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just because any serpent that gets printed, oh cool, it can go in the deck maybe. Like,
No,
The-
Serpents
the-
is literally just, it's Shaz Snake, and Shaz Snake things, and Curse, and Maduke.
yeah,
That's it. That's all it needs. It doesn't mean, it's not like Serpents. It's called Purple Serpents because Shaz Snake, and having Serpents, and Blackland,
Yeah.
and Maduke. Because it's just the Curse package.
Yeah, it's curse package with serpents because Shaznik wants you to have serpents, and some of the best purple cards are serpents, like Shaznik and
they all have curse.
Dragonaga Assassin and Ouroboros and Blacklands, and they all have curse or do something with curse.
Yep.
But Jacob Rixa, it exists, therefore it's the boss. Z, stop breaking my heart, please.
So you know what the problem is that you can't ascend into Rixa
From a serpent.
off of Maduke.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem, and that's why Maduke needs to be banned.
Yep.
All right, so in conclusion, of course, BBE and Lab banned. Fuck those cards, get them out of here, it's for the health of the game. If that happens, problem cards become possibly Labyrinth, possibly Ginblue, definitely Windigloom.
You meant
Paradise.
You meant Paradise.
Yeah. Sorry, possibly Paradise, possibly Ginbu, definitely Windigloom. Possibly Thorn Prison, possibly Ant Strike Back, possibly Regain, possibly Valkyrie Mist. Those are could be problem cards. Cards that people have talked about, but we don't think need to get banned. Doubly Deadly, Floodstream, Maduke, Elephant, etc. So that's your objectively correct MainDeck Masters take sent straight to Bandai, and they're going to 100% listen to us because we are, we're the best in the business.
We're the best. We know what we're talking about.
I tried to make sure he had the proper copy of Ginbu.
Oh, wait, Zeeg wants us to talk about Pollen.
Why? What's there to talk about?
Pollen turbos you in Nexus.
And cool. Fine.
Man,
no
that's
5
all
cards that are
he
not
had-
Nexuses, please.
He had a really. I haven't seen his video yet because
I
I've been
haven't
working
watched
all
it
day.
because, like,
But
I'm just busy.
I think he made a good point. He makes a good take on it. I don't think really. I'm not sure if Pollen should be hit, but he makes good take. He's got good takes. Everybody should watch Zeke's video as well. Link in the description.
This is my
when this becomes a
is my
YouTube
take.
video.
This is my take on Pollen.
Pollen's a fine
One, is this going to be biased? Probably. More than likely.
No, you have to think non-biased.
But, okay. So, non-biased. Using facts that have happened. I played Pollen at 4 in my deck. Over the span of tonight...
1 second.
Saturday?
Marshall, we didn't talk about Lighthouse because with dual color cards, I don't think Lighthouse is going to be as much of a problem.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We have dual color cards.
Yeah, we thought about it.
All right, another thing that people talk about, Lighthouse, it could be a problem card, but I don't think it's going to be as relevant with Set 5. There we go. There's your talk about Lighthouse.
Okay. So, here's my thing about Pollen. And this is using facts. In the span of tonight, the best of 3 I did with Dave tonight, the games I played on Saturday at locals, and the games I played last week on tonight, I didn't resolve Pollen once.
Well, you resolved it, but you did not grab anything.
Well,
I didn't get
because
anything.
you suck at this game.
I didn't get any on Saturday.
Again,
And I got 1 on the last stream.
Yeah.
I think Zeeg's take is the fact that Pollen stifles out other cards. Like Voiceless Diva was brought out, and like, why would you play Voiceless Diva when you have Pollen? Yeah,
Because
Voiceless Diva, I suppose, can get a 5-cost or a 6-cost Nexus.
I will say this. I will say this.
You have
100%
Lyrica.
of
Why
the
would
time.
you play Lyrica when you have Pollen?
So this is my thing. Pollen is good. Diva, I could see Diva being played over Pollen if we get the FAQ from Bandai and it rules in favor of what I think happened.
Oh, the discard effect?
If you get to trigger Volcanic Island and stuff off of Voiceless Diva, off the mill, then you'll play Diva. Because you'll get 2 activations.
I don't think that matters. Like, it really, like, the 2 activations, like, it's really, I don't think that's super hyper relevant, honestly.
In the
Because
decks
by
that
the
would
time
play
you're
it,
at Caldera Dragon,
it doesn't giving one thing confront in 3K versus giving two things confront in 3K is a very big difference.
I mean, Caldera does it himself when you play him, and then you strong draw, and boom, you're there.
Yeah.
Instead
Cool.
of having to mill 5 cards.
Voiceless Diva does the same thing, but on one card.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
I know
Voiceless,
that-
if it rules in
We're
favor,
not talking about Voiceless Diva though. We're talking about
yeah,
Pollen.
I'm
And
saying,
Pollen,
I'm saying
the thing
Voiceless
about
Diva,
Pollen
if
is
it
still
rules
better
in
than
favor,
Voiceless Diva because Pollen becomes a body on the board, gets you more reduction, and sets up your drop zone.
Blue purple baby, you set up that drop zone.
It sets up your trash because like Pollen in, say you play Pollen in Caldera, you hit an Enchained Arena or something like that, put it on the field, turn 1, now you have 2 blue reduction on the field, turn run, you put an island in the trash, you play Caldera, you get that island back. It does what multiple different spirits do, but all together and better is, I think, the problem. And I think she's going to be less of an issue if Labyrinth is banned. But
Yeah.
the way that she turbos out reduction and mana cheats, I think is the main issue of Pollen. And if you get rid of Pollen, I think Labyrinth may become less annoying, but there's still the idea of Labyrinth turn 1, Labyrinth turn 2, and then you go into Hydra and you're still high rolling them. It's just less egregious because you're not doing it with Pollen.
Yeah.
and
So I don't know. We gotta. I think it's less. It's going to be less egregious if Labyrinth is gone. Yes, you can Pollen with Caldera stuff, but like Caldera isn't as disgusting as Hydra is because it only kills a 3-drop or less. It has to be max level to restand. It can only restand so many times because it destroys your Nexus instead of exhausting it. That has to be a refresh Nexus, and it doesn't swing for 2 damage. Yeah, Labyrinth does too much. So, yeah, that's the argument of Pollen, but I think Pollen's fine without Labyrinth.
Yeah.
But she is gross, especially in conjunction with Labyrinth. Giving Hydra, Labyrinth, and Pollen in the same set was a mistake.
Facts.
All right, so that's the end of our that's finally we talked about everything. Zeeg's happy finally. He's still going to be I'm sure he's going to be yelling at me in DMs.
he's going into the gulag kicking and screaming.
Any closing thoughts on the ban list? Jose, you haven't really talked that much in a minute.
I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I wholeheartedly agree with a lot of what everyone was saying. As far as what should be banned, what shouldn't be banned, we're just gonna have to wait and see, really, and just see where the meta takes us. Hopefully, it goes in a positive way, so I can keep playing this fucking game because I actually like it.
Facts.
Good point. That's true.
About it.
That is true.
Well designed game needs a good format.
We but we're probably simply going to see either Ira and Hydra banned or BBE
They will never
and
ban
Labyrinth
them.
banned.
They won't.
We will.
They're like the poster
There's
children.
there may be, but if there is a ban list, we're going to see BBE and Labyrinth. If we don't see BBE and Labyrinth, they're just gonna ban Ira and Hydra, which they're not going to do because they're still giving out Ira and Hydra cards. So they're just gonna do Lab and BBE and call it a day because it's less work for them. They don't have to think about what happens to the meta after these get banned. So I guess Fable Beast mains rise up.
Yeah.
That I'm not one of those people.
Fable Beast fans, rise, James. Rise, James.
I play it, but I prefer Alice. So,
You're playing it anyway.
whoa, I am.
It's just a draw engine package that gets me to Luster. All it is.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's strong. I think that's it.
Yeah, Well, I'm looking at like the chat and I'm agreeing with Z. Like the whole point of a ban list or them putting up thoughts, we have to push for them to make sure the ban list goes into effect. But yeah. Also, Z, I do agree. Genbu is the card that needs to get banned, and I did watch your video. It's because Genbu does too much going into this next format in general, and even beforehand. It
Oh, I
makes
think
people
Ginbu needs to be
force
burned in a
answers.
fire. It needs to be burned in the fiery pits of hell. But are they
But,
going to do it?
I mean,
trying
that's
to
what
think
it did all
logically
set
of
five,
what
all of
Bandai's
set
gonna
4
do.
with
Right.
Ira in the format. But if Ira leaves the format, Genbu has to go too.
Let's be fair
Yeah.
though, the one ban list that they did do was a really good ban list.
It was.
It was.
So
It made sense. It made perfect sense.
Maybe the 3 people left on the development team are going hard in the paint trying to figure out what a good and healthy ban list for set 5 is going to be. We can only hope.
Well, the
'Cause
3
they're
people
probably also
are the
thinking about
people
that
that
6 as well.
made that post.
Exactly. So yeah. Thanks for coming to our TED